when I smoked 5-MeO DMT, which was the first time was a couple years ago, and I was absolutely terrified. I mean, probably the most scared I've ever been going into that experience.
Oh,
But
before.
I did 5 sessions with it, and I had great two full
Divine.
releases.
It's divine, yeah.
Yeah. One thing, because you were talking with
You
Zoltan
can see
about
it with
this.
5-MeO, by the way.
What's that?
You
You
can see
can
the
see it.
code.
Yes. Oh, any tryptamine, isn't it?
It seems.
Seems like it.
Yeah. And it's weird because 5-MeO is very different
Very.
in the way that it presents itself, and yet the code is the code. In fact, you
Hmm.
see it even clearer.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
because I do have some of the. I think it's toad venom actually. Also,
So I've never done the one from the toad. I've done only the jaguar, the synthetic one.
that me too. But I got a pen, and it's the liquid is brown. So I'm like, I think it's actually the venom. And the guy I got it from said, I think that's the venom.
Oh, yeah, well, you
I
told me.
haven't experimented with that one yet.
Yeah, I don't.
Again, if the conditions aren't right for DMT, then they're
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
not
yeah,
right for
yeah.
5-MeO
Sure,
DMT.
yeah, and there's like if you do the prep, I think especially with 5-MeO, the divine nature of it, I think if you do the prep, you should be fine.
Hmm.
And then after you do your experience, only then you can kind of. I saw the code for 5 days straight after.
Ah, yeah, I heard you say that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
wild.
it is wild. Yeah. That's that. If you ever do mushrooms, you can see the code if you do enough mushrooms.
Yeah,
Yep.
I have some of those as well too, and I know I feel more comfortable. Obviously, I have more experience, even though you can certainly go places in the mushrooms as well. But there's more of a sense of being grounded.
But it's just more of a commitment. It's like a whole day, you
That's the
know.
thing too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's that's the only downside of it. It's like it's a whole day, and it's not just a whole day. It's also the next day.
hmm
You have to kind of give yourself time. That's why it's a lot harder to investigate on that. I don't know if it works on ketamine. That might be an interesting one to explore, but
that
it might.
is. I was curious about that actually. Huh. Well, we can report back. Now, I heard you say somewhere that do it during the day, not at night. What's the reason for that?
A few reasons. One of them is that your brain is more energized, and so you can hold your own space better.
Hmm.
When you get tired and wonky, it's easier for other things to creep in. Plus, the fact that at night other energies are out to play. So there's
Ah.
nothing wrong with them. It's just that if you're not, if I'm giving a blanket advice for whomever,
Hmm.
it's much safer to say that even if you're not experienced, and you don't know how to handle certain presentations, because they're not, again, the darker energies, they're not necessarily evil in the sense that we think of them, but they have a different function that can be disturbing to some people. So it's much better to play during the day where there's less things that might disturb you, and you're more energized and you're not exhausted, because it
Yeah.
is tiring for the brain for sure.
Sure. It's kind of like, I guess, watching a scary movie during the day.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the same punch.
Well, it doesn't have to be scary in the sense that
No, but
there's a different possibility
on
there.
one.
Yeah, but it is also I think the thing with the energy is it plays a major role.
Hmm.
Yeah, if you don't have enough energy, it's kind of hard. It's like you're already kind of like falling asleep. It's not a good state to start from.
Does anything take away from it? Like, would smoking cannabis enhance it
Yeah,
or
definitely
take away
would.
from it?
No, I definitely do not, especially not cannabis. Cannabis does not mix well with DMT. It glazes it. It creates like almost like a veil. If you want to combat any of the nervousness, one bump of ketamine is actually perfect. Not too
Okay.
much because you might go into loops, but if you do just a tiny bit, it removes the edge. It
Huh.
removes the yeah,
Interesting. I've
yeah.
heard about people doing that, doing a little MDMA before doing like 5-MeO.
If it's smokable, I guess you can. Yeah, that can be helpful as well. If it
Hmm.
doesn't influence you negatively, because for a lot of people, the downside of the MDMA is that there's like a drop
Yeah.
after, and if you're experiencing
Well, it
that,
also plays with your vision too, which,
that's true. But again, it depends on the amount. If it's smokable, I think maybe yes. If you have to take it as a powder, I don't know if I would vote for it. The thing with ketamine is that it's gone within less than 40 minutes,
yeah.
and it doesn't really leave a trace like cocaine does, let's say. So ketamine is a lot more favorable in that way. And again, not to abuse it. Like we're talking about like a tiny bump, just
Hmm.
until the edge is gone, like that nervousness that happens in the beginning of before you smoke.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
great to know.
yeah. Being comfortable in your body is a very important component here. If you're
Yes.
sitting the whole time and you're kind of struggling with it, just because you're like, "Ugh," like that's not a way to explore anything.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I am Allah, I am Yahweh Ababa. No one may test the Father. I am the health, rusting of the